Today's April 16th and we're starting our first section of our BNT section hike for the year. We're actually hiking from south to north in this section, from Smokemont to Big Creek Gap. As you can see, there's a campsite in Smokemont that you can stay at if you need to. The lady's up ahead of me. Coming out of this section, you're not going to be truly hiking what they call the BMT, although it is a BMT, but you'll be cooking up with a couple different trails. One, the Chasteen Creek Trail, then the Enlow Creek Trail, and then the Hyatt Ridge Trail, which will take us to campsite 44. It's a little over 12.7 miles or so, give or take, today to get up there, and then tomorrow will be 20.2 miles from there back to Big Creek. So I will check in. We were supposed to have some rain today. It looks like it's cleared up. Blue skies, gorgeous day. Kind of excited to get on the trail. 2,000 foot elevation climb right off the bat, so onward and upward. So far the trail's been pretty marked up the Chasteen Creek Trail, which is going to head up this way. We had over an inch of rainfall last night, so the trail has been pretty wet up to this point. I thought this was kind of interesting. Looks like a marriage of two trees. Right down the center of the picture, all the way to the top, they kind of intertwine over years and years and years. Alright, well, it's about 1:30 and we've been hiking for about 2 hours now, and I just stopped here to get some lunch. I got some tuna fish and I'm rehydrating some rice and dehydrated broccoli and beans. And anyway, there is the Enlow Creek Trail where we'll be going to the left here, so I figured I'd stop here and wait for my partners, have a little break. The trail to this point has been predominantly upwards. Looks like I just got to the top of the ridge, so we'll be going back down again, but it follows a roadbed for the most part. It doesn't have a very steep incline, so it's very gradual. Once you do hit trail, about the last third of the trail, it seems more like you're doing some hiking. So when you get to the top, take a nice little break, flat spot, and I'll be moving on here soon. From that direction. From the point of my last video where I had lunch, there's kind of a zigzag in the trail. What you're going to do for the Benton Mackaye Trail is basically just come down about a half mile or so on a flat ridge, and then you're going to head back uphill, maybe downhill a little bit. But this is the Enlow Creek Trail. As you can see, you're heading up here straight ahead. The Appalachian Trail is to the left, and from where I came was that direction. Alright, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but I just came out of the woods, and you hear it for a little while, but this Enlow Creek, which the trail is going to follow down for a while, starts right about there. Is the first sign or sight of it I've had. I wish I would have been able to video what happened just behind me. We actually had to ford the stream, and it's the bridge is out. I'll kind of show you what we did. You can see the bridge laying there in a couple pieces, right there and right there. There's a couple guys over here that just went across, but the trail comes out over this way and comes down over to here. Had to go all through this. Becky and Marta went up actually through the upper portion back here, which I think was a little bit narrow. I'm not sure how rough it was, but yeah. Really cool. I wish I would have got that on video. Alright, just to give you a little idea what's been going on. We just came up the Hyatt Ridge Trail. I didn't take a video or any pictures at the last transition, but there is several different ways that the trail can go, so pay attention to where you're headed. Here is what we are going to do tonight. We've come to a junction here. It came from this direction over here, and actually, as you can see in the sign, the Benton Mackaye Trail heads down in that direction. I'm going the 9/10 of a mile up this direction to camp for the night at campsite number 44. It's a non-reservation site, meaning that you could actually just get there. So it does free up some opportunity to make some changes if we had to in this this trip. So I will probably check in and give a little video of what the campsite looks like when we get there. You'll enter campsite 44 from that direction right there. As you can see, there's a place for a hammock at least. My tent here, and a tent across that way. If you follow along, it's pretty wet, but there's a pretty reliable water source right back there, very full, and actually there might be a couple springs in there. Kind of take a step back so you can kind of get an idea of what my little area looks like. Alright, it's 7:30 in the morning. Just packed up. This campsite is actually a very good campsite. It's blocked on all sides. I don't know if you could tell, but basically you sit in a giant bowl. And I could hear the wind whipping over top of us all last night, but it really didn't blow the tent at all. Kept everything at bay. And it was a good overall campsite. So if you get a chance to stop at this one's beautiful, plenty of water, good source. It's a little before 9:30, and what's going to wind up happening is you're going to come down from this trail here and come to a road crossing with a bridge down along the center part. You can continue down. It's a short road walk, and then you've got about 4.5 miles to cover about 2,300 feet of elevation incline. So it was a very steady decline. You probably won't have as much water as we did. We had about 1 inch on Friday night, so we've got water on the trail, you know, springs that are probably normally not flowing. They're roaring pretty good, plus all the water in the rivers and the streams are running really well. So great hike so far. We've got about 16 or so miles to go. So first 20-mile day, first 20-mile day of the season, so happy about that. After a short road walk, you're going to get to a split in the trail here, and you're going to want to take the Beach Gap Trail, which is up here to the right. It's 4.5 miles uphill. Stay away from the left to the top of Sterling Ridge Trail. So I'll check in periodically when anything comes up, and otherwise I'll check it up there. 11:45 on Sunday, and I've just arrived at Laurel Gap Shelter. This is a shelter that you have to reserve. And as you can see, it has got a bear cage on it. There's a water source apparently down this trail, and there is no privy, but there is a toilet area apparently in somewhere in that direction over there. So bear cables, the whole nine. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna cook some ramen noodles and some dehydrated chicken, and I'll move on to the next section. Alright, I just finished a good lunch at Laurel Gap Shelter, and I've arrived at the first intersection, which has got several different paths you could take. But what you're going to do at this section is you're going to hang a right, go down to the Mount Sterling Trail, and then you can see there's a pretty good incline that you got to go. And actually, you can get to the Appalachian Trail here on the Balsam Mountain Trail. So just be aware when you get the top at the right. And also another thing is, these Benton Mackaye trail signs are just about everywhere, and I've only seen one occasion where there wasn't the Benton Mackaye diamond. There was just a green arrow, but it's been pretty right on, and as long as you got the National Geographic map for this section, you should be fine. behind you, you see the fire tower for Mount Sterling. The 4 mile or 4.5 mile hike up the other side of the mountain. It was a brutal hike, but it was rewarded by the Mount Sterling Ridge Trail, or actually Sterling Ridge Trail, which is about 5 miles or so, which is flat and absolutely beautiful. There was no foliage on the trees for the most part, so you could see vistas all across. It's a beautiful day outside. The last, say mile or so has got a pretty good uphill at this point, but not all that bad. It's pretty rocky, but it's been a great hike so far. Let's go up to the top of this and see what we got as far as views. Raging torrent down there. All right, 20 miles we made it. And you see behind me the parking lot, and it was a great hike. The last 6 miles are basically all downhill. It's better than climbing uphill, but it does take its toll on your knees. So, section 1, Benton Mackaye Trail completed. Check in for section 2.